Hi there, it's Charles, and it's November the 2nd, so I have not done a journal in a very long time, for about 2 weeks. But a lot has happened during those 2 weeks. We performed our playwright skit, where we found a playwright, in this case, the Canadian playwright Maurice Panich, and we took one of his plays and chose a skit that we would do from it. And then in the middle of doing that, we did a little biography on him. So I will be talking about not only the performance, but the process in which we did it. This was one of those projects that was kind of fluky, like you don't really prepare for it that well, but it turned out pretty well. And part of it was because we gained experience from previous years of just flinging it or winging it by improv skills or just presentation skills as a whole, and not so much as we memorize lines of when to say what exactly. So that's something I was proud of, but it's something that I will never probably do again because it was so risky and there was just so many things that could have went wrong. Yeah, and I think if we actually prepared for it, it's not that maybe we could have done better, but we would have had a lot more confidence in doing it, and confidence is really important. Because really when we were having those classes to prepare for this presentation, we weren't really doing anything. We were just fooling around. Of course, we had those, we came up with the ideas, and we were just jumping around so excitedly, but ultimately we didn't get a lot done, and I think we could have if we had actually done our homework. But we actually had to skip the double block of block A and B for math to actually practice in the cafeteria, which, I mean, it worked out. The only thing that happened was that we now have to catch up a little bit in math, but you know, it's never a good thing to have to detract from your schedule to make up for something that you could have done better. And I guess it's not as much as having a good final result than the fact that I want to have the right attitude into going into these things in general. Because we had a good result, but the wrong attitude that somehow got us to the end point. And I think that's not always going to happen. Sometimes when we fluke out like that, usually what happens is we stay up late trying to get it right, and then we freak out. But I guess it's a little different in drama, but still the attitude has to be there. As for the teamwork, I think we worked very well as a team. Communication was good, well, since we see each other every day anyways, but the communication was very easy in the sense that I didn't have to order her or she didn't have to order me around, and there was no, we were both leaders, you know, and if it's only two people, both being leaders works. And because usually when you look at a presentation, you want them to be both strong in what their objectives are, and not one person's doing everything. It looks like he practiced his lines very well, is kind of directing the play while doing the play, and the other guy's just doing what he was told to do. Like that kind of thing shines through. You can actually see that when somebody's performing. Like if one person's excited and the other guy's not, then there's an imbalance of power there, and you're kind of distracted. Now into the more technical stuff and what we actually did. We did the project on the playwright, and I read through 2 scripts of the same playwright and to pick which one it is, and I'm glad I did that because I found that the storyline of both stories are very, very different. But the voice, or what Morris is trying to convey to the audience, is very similar. For example, even though one's a comedy and one is more of a serious drama, they both deal with a person that's going through the process of suiciding. And the overlying theme about the suicides that they go through, or the process of thinking about having suicide, is that it doesn't really affect society. They think that if I suicide, this is going to happen and this is going to happen, and everybody will care about me, and they're going to feel so much regret. But in reality, nobody really cares. So I guess that's his message, that suicide is not does not have, it has an impact on yourself, but it's not what you intend it to be, if I can put it that way. Another thing I realized is that an earshot where this guy has this huge monologue, he really, the whole monologue, he does not spend every second of talking about advancing the plot. Mostly the plot is very simple, but he spends a lot of time talking about weird things like, I mean, the story is about him and Valerie, his next door neighbor, but he talks about weird things like his other neighbor, which keeps on looking for her teeth, and her neighbor downstairs, who is always hammering something, which is weird, and he spends a lot of time talking about them. And I asked myself why the playwright would write something that did not seem very interesting in terms of plot. But I think these are scenes that really reveal his character, and I think